Does Miami-Dade Latino LGBTQ plus escape to Broward County because of internal and external homophobia? Miami-Dade County is a vacation mecca, offering beaches, entertainment, and international culture with a huge population of residents from Latin American countries. While there's a large LGBTQ plus community in Miami-Dade, myself, there's also a lot of hatred and targets to the community. Many residents of Miami come from countries in the Caribbean that still have colonial-era values and acceptance of LGBTQ plus individuals by those residents is frequently low. So yes. Without a central gayborhood, resources like Pridelines, the oldest direct service LGBTQ plus community center in South Florida, have challenges reaching the LGBTQ plus people in the county. This has led to a migration of sorts of the gay community as many move north to Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors, and Oakland Park to access both cheaper housing and a more centralized community.
You know, this story is so important because I lived this story. I am originally from Miami, and I found more and more over time, it became less and less LGBTQ friendly.
Right.
And so that's part of the reason why I moved to the Oakland Park, Wilton Manors area. I just got sick of living someone else's life, you know, as a third-class citizen. And so now, since I've moved up here, it's been a game changer. I live my full authentic life. I'm celebrated here. I'm not just tolerated.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I experienced homophobia living in Miami-Dade County. Things changed. In the 90s, it was different.
Right.
I'm dating myself here now, but things were different. There was a lot larger LGBT palpable community. And over time, that changed, along with demographics. And so it's not surprising in the commentary that when we see that, you know, a large percentage of people are from other places in Latin America and the Caribbean with those kinds of cultural attitudes, it makes sense that you see this growing sort of and shrinking gay community, LGBTQ community, and a rise in the overt homophobia.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of statistics on this if anyone's interested. But you know, even though there have been some
follow you where?
It's unfortunate because those attitudes are reflected here in South Florida.
Right.
Because if you have a large, I think it's something like, according to census data, like 50-something% foreign born, those attitudes and cultures and norms
100%.
are reflected here in Miami-Dade County, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, why I feel.
Well, there's
strongly.
also, you know, I grew up in Hialeah, and Hialeah, come on, you know, that's a huge Cuban machismo and Catholic, and so there's the religious, you know, influence, and then there's also
political.
that, you know, the cultural, the political. There's so much. And so Miami-Dade, it depends really which pocket of Miami-Dade you're in as well. Yeah. And then it's, you know, it's not as concentrated. Like, I feel so grateful to be living in Wilton Manors because we're like the gayest place on planet Earth. And then every single neighboring community, it's just like we're growing, we're spreading. And like you said, acceptance, not tolerance. And it's safe.
I moved to Miami almost 20 years ago. When I moved, you could say South Beach was still kind of a neighborhood. You had Lincoln Road, and like there was at least 4 or 6 gay businesses there, and you would go there on any day of the week and see gay people. That no longer exists. That was completely gentrified. After that, Wynwood kind of became a gay hub. Not anymore. That's been completely gentrified. So the gays in Miami have been used basically to gentrify neighborhoods, but we don't have one of our own. I live in downtown now, and I see a lot of queer people, but there's not a queer bar. There's not a community or a center, anything like that. We like to say in Miami that we're like New York, like we're so accepting that we don't need gay bars because you can be gay anywhere. And I've been to New York.
If another heterosexual person tells me that, I'm going to scream because it isn't that way.
It isn't that way.
If you're lucky enough to be in a relationship, then you're insulated somewhat, and you can kind of go to a restaurant and you and your partner don't feel it as much. But if you're single and you're LGBTQ, you're on your own, kid.
In Miami-Dade, well, in Wynwood was a neighborhood that, you know, was built a lot because of the gay community. And a few years ago, still, you had the Electric Pickle and all these little bars who weren't gay, but they was gay, you know?
But they were very gay friendly.
They're very gay friendly. And there was a lot of gay staff, too. So you felt it, but all that is closed now. And now I've had 2 cases of friends who weren't let into venues weren't let into venues in Wynwood because they looked too queer.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know this.
Maybe you all can relate to this. This is a paradox because on the one hand, I'm very proud of my Hispanic Latino ancestry and I celebrate our culture. But at the same time, there is this issue with homophobia and we can't deny it. It's well documented in the literature. And so it's unfortunate because I'm sure as you all feel very proud of your heritage as I do, but we're excluded in many ways, you know? And I just think that's something that I'm grateful
and Evan,
that we talk about.
I hear you jumping in there over here, but
yeah,
you know, we got the piranhas in the tank tonight, okay?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Latinos are taking
No,
over.
it's
You
fine.
want to
Is
finish
that
this up?
I haven't been alive long enough to experience the things you guys are talking about of gentrification of neighborhoods. I've heard about it and I've seen it like in news and stuff, but I haven't like experienced it firsthand. And I wanted to know that while moving away from Miami-Dade, have you felt like any separation from your own culture and like heritage?
Well, no, because I travel back and forth. I work at different institutions in Broward and Miami-Dade County, but it's a palpable difference. And even in the way I'm treated at these different institutions, I know where I am by how I'm treated by office staff, fellow colleagues. It's real. And so, no, I think because of my connection to my family and friends, but you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's an unfortunate situation. I think we can make room for change. I think this is part of why we're talking about this, is not just to complain about it, but let's make some changes. Let's unite. Let's stand up to this kind of bigotry within our community. If not for us to say it, who's going to say it for us? Yeah. Right?
Well, I think also what's happening, just so you guys know, I hear in the water that there are a lot of Latin concept restaurants and entertainment type of offerings that are moving and looking at Fort Lauderdale. So we may not have escaped. We may have just migrated.
Fortunately, we have to move on to the next topic, but that's true. What's happening in Miami is that they're gentrifying the Latinos out in a way. International companies are coming and taking over all that retail.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Closing that out, I'll say that I moved here in 2000, and I remember the good old days of Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
You know, Lincoln Road, you could walk up freely and it was comfortable. I went to Lincoln Road recently and I did not know where I was.
Yeah.
So
different.
I'm definitely out of Kansas.
Yeah, it's horrible. And go to Wynwood, any of those neighborhoods, it's losing a lot of the culture, and a lot of that was LGBTQ people, LGBTQ plus people. And sorry, we need to mention that our house just got sued for having drag queens. And that was one of the last Wynwood gay institutions, and they might not be able to have drag
Can we
shows
speak to this? It's not global
crazy.
warming or the war in Iran, Ukraine,
drag queens.
or the pandemic or
weapons or all the weapons.
Monkeypox or poverty.
It's
those darn drag queens.
Oh my God. They're
If we
so
could only solve that problem, it's pathetic. It's a distraction. It's meant to be a distraction. Anywho.
No.
All right. Well, how about this?
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.